Steve Jobs was born on February 24, 1955, in San Francisco, California, to two university students, Joanne Schiebel and Abdul Fattah Jandali. His biological parents, unable to raise him, gave him up for adoption, and he was taken in by Paul and Clara Jobs, a working-class couple from Mountain View, California. Steve was raised in an environment that encouraged curiosity and creativity, which became the foundation of his future success. From an early age, Jobs exhibited an intense interest in technology and electronics. He was a brilliant, albeit eccentric, child who preferred to tinker with electronics rather than play with traditional toys. In high school, he attended lectures at Hewlett-Packard, where he met Steve Wozniak, a fellow electronics enthusiast who would later become his close friend and co-founder of Apple. Jobs' academic journey was unconventional. After briefly enrolling at Reed College in Portland, Oregon, he dropped out, but he continued to audit classes, one of which was a calligraphy course. It was a class that seemed unrelated to technology at the time, but later played a crucial role in Apple's emphasis on design and user-friendly interfaces. Jobs believed that learning should not be confined to traditional academic structures, but should be a personal and passionate endeavor. In 1976, Jobs and Wozniak, along with Ronald Wayne, co-founded Apple in a garage. Their first product, the Apple I, was a hand-built computer kit that they sold to local electronics stores. The Apple II, launched in 1977, became one of the first commercially successful personal computers. It was the beginning of what would become one of the most influential companies in history. However, it was the Apple Macintosh, released in 1984, that truly revolutionized personal computing. Unlike the IBM-compatible PCs of the time, the Macintosh had a graphical user interface, GUI, and a mouse, making it much more accessible to the average consumer. Jobs believed that computers should be intuitive, beautifully designed, and able to integrate seamlessly into people's lives, a philosophy that would remain at the heart of Apple's mission. Apple's early success transformed Jobs from an ambitious entrepreneur into a global icon. He became the face of the personal computer revolution, admired for his vision, charisma, and the ability to sell his ideas. But his leadership style was far from traditional. Jobs' obsession with perfection and his demanding leadership style were both his strengths and weaknesses. He pushed his team to the limit, expecting excellence and pushing the boundaries of what was possible. However, his intensity and abrasiveness often led to conflict within Apple. He could be ruthless, alienating those who didn't share his relentless pursuit of perfection. In 1985, after a series of power struggles with Apple's board of directors, Jobs was ousted from the company he had founded. This was a devastating blow for Jobs, who saw Apple as an extension of his vision. For a while, it seemed as though his story would end in failure. But instead of retreating, Jobs used this setback as an opportunity for reinvention. After leaving Apple, Jobs founded Next, a computer company focused on creating high-performance workstations for higher education and business markets. While Next's products were technologically advanced, the company struggled to find commercial success. Despite this, the technology Next developed would later play a crucial role in the development of Mac OS after Jobs returned to Apple. During this time, Jobs also acquired a small animation studio called Pixar, which would go on to become a juggernaut in the world of animation. Pixar's first film, Toy Story, revolutionized animation by being the first full-length feature film created entirely through computer-generated imagery, CGI. The film's success paved the way for Pixar to produce a string of hit films, including Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, and Up. In 2006, Pixar was acquired by Disney in a deal worth $7.4 billion, making Jobs Disney's largest individual shareholder. In 1997, Apple, struggling with declining sales and an unclear direction, purchased Next for $429 million. This acquisition brought Steve Jobs back to the company, and he quickly assumed control of the reins once again. Apple, which had been on the brink of collapse, was revitalized under his leadership. Jobs began by simplifying the company's product line, cutting unnecessary models, and focusing on creating a few high-quality products. One of the first major successes of his return was the iMac, which combined cutting-edge technology with bold, colorful design. The iMac's success helped Apple regain its footing, but it was just the beginning. Under Jobs' leadership, Apple introduced a series of groundbreaking products that reshaped the technology landscape. The iPod revolutionized the music industry, and the iTunes Store provided a legal alternative to piracy. In 2007, Apple introduced the iPhone, which not only changed the mobile phone industry, but also the way people interacted with technology. The iPhone's combination of a touchscreen interface, mobile internet, and a vast array of applications redefined what a mobile device could do. In 2010, Apple launched the iPad, which solidified its dominance in consumer electronics and gave rise to the tablet industry. In 2003, Jobs was diagnosed with a rare form of pancreatic cancer called a pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor. Doctors recommended immediate surgery, but Jobs, known for his belief in intuition and his distrust of conventional medicine, delayed the procedure. Instead, he sought alternative treatments, including a strict diet, acupuncture, and other holistic therapies. Jobs believed that his body could heal itself, and his deep personal belief in his ability to control his fate led him to avoid conventional treatment. This decision has been the subject of much debate. Many critics argue that had Jobs undergone surgery when it was first recommended, he might have had a better chance of survival. But Jobs' deep connection to his intuition and his belief that he could outthink nature ultimately led to the delay that may have worsened his condition. In 2004, Jobs finally had surgery, but by that time, the cancer had spread. He continued to fight the disease privately, even as his health declined. Jobs publicly appeared less frequently and struggled with his physical condition in the years leading up to his death in 2011. His refusal to heed medical advice was a stark contrast to the calculated decisions he made in his professional life. Steve Jobs passed away on October 5, 2011, at the age of 56. His death was a moment of reflection for the entire world. Jobs had revolutionized multiple industries, from personal computing to music, telecommunications, and entertainment. His legacy is not just in the products he created, but in the culture of innovation and design thinking that he instilled in Apple and beyond. Jobs' life serves as a reminder that even the greatest minds are fallible. His story is one of triumph, but also of tragedy, a man whose genius reshaped the world, yet whose inability to let go of control ultimately led to his premature death. If this story moved you or inspired you, be sure to subscribe for more powerful stories that explore the triumphs and struggles of visionaries who left their mark on the world.